Hello. Today I want to go over how I use different models, both local and GPT, Claude, etc. And I want to go over like a few different use cases, not just ways that I use it, but use cases that you might find valuable using these things that are not inherently obvious. So I want to start with local models. I'm using Minimax M2.1 AWQ4-bit. So this is a 4-bit quantization of a model called Minimax. If you are not familiar with it, you could check its Hugging Face out. I will include this in the description. So Minimax is a 229 billion parameter model that is not necessarily that big. It is big in terms of like the amount of hardware that you need to run it, but it's not that big from the perspective of like Claude or GPT. We don't really know for sure, but I think this is probably 5 times smaller than these models. It's also extremely fast, and it's very good at coding, and it's very good at tool calling. So I'm running this model on 8 3090s. This is software that I built called LLM Studio. It's on my GitHub. It's a bit of a mess, but it allows me to track the usage of my local models. This has only been up for about a week, so the usage looks low, but I use a lot more than this. I probably use about 100 million tokens per day, spread across Claude Code, GPT, Codex, and the other Chinese models like Minimax, GLM, and even Kimi. Now, I built this again for easier access, and this is one thing that I would recommend when working with local models is have a system for how you are going to save recipes, how you are going to figure out what you've used before, where you've stored it. Hugging Face has models of all shapes and sizes. One of my favorites is actually really tiny. It's Nematron Orchestrator 8B. This would fit on a mobile phone even. This model is very good at tool calling. It's very good at doing things, basically. It's really good in the terminal, and I would recommend trying it out. But the point is, there are local models at every level. You have smaller models that are quicker and that are able to fit on small hardware. You have decently sized, medium-sized models like Minimax and GLM that they are big, but you can run them on a Mac Ultra. There are models that are 30 billion that are very good at coding. You could take your time looking through the models page on Hugging Face and find something that works for your hardware. You can place your hardware in the settings. You can set up how much you actually have, like in regards to VRAM. You can say you have a MacBook or whatever. Once you get it set up and you learn how to work with these things, it becomes a lot easier to switch between them and then to squeeze like the most out of them. So you can see here, I have my browser extension that I've built over the last few months. This allows the models to control the browser. Now, if we go into settings, you can see that I'm using my own API, and this is my own model that I am self-hosting right now. We can then essentially go in and think about this. I want you to research different quantization methods for LLMs, and then break it down for me. So if you ever used models for research, deep research, there is a problem when you're using like Brave Search or like a basic MCP. So you can see here now my model is running, and you can see the amount of requests went up by 1, went up by 2, and it's doing research now. So it's looking at different quantization methods. I should set up like the think blocks. I haven't yet. The point though is this is a lot more useful for the model actually than calling an API like Exa. Maybe Exa is better, but Brave Search. And the reason for that is it has access to the context of the entire page, not just like the text on that page. So it can actually click around, it can navigate, it can go back and forth, it can find things that you wouldn't find just asking Brave Search, for example. And now you can see that it's spitting out a response with actual links and references, and it is able to break this down to me. So what else can we do with this? I would like to create a new session, and I want you to look on Amazon for nice desk chairs that are good for posture, then select 3 and argue the case for each. So you can use it to shop. You can use it to set up accounts. Let's say you want to set up your YouTube account or some API. You could do a lot of different things. That's a bug on my end. I will also take it to continue shopping. Yeah. Yeah, you see, so it got stuck at a captcha. This is very interesting, and also that is a bug that I need to fix soon. We can actually go and talk about that, but you can see it's searching the web, and then it's going to be able to navigate and find different things for me, and then give me options. And so if you want to go on a date with your partner, you can like look up 3 different places in your city that serve certain types of food. You can use this for setting up AWS accounts, Amazon accounts, in general, any like Google account, which are usually a pain in the ass to set up, like GCP. You can get it to go in and actually create all the rules, the IAM rules. I'm not going to do that here, but that is possible. Also, as you know, LinkedIn, you can't really scrape it, but you could use these AI tools to actually interact with the page and then get data and do stuff with it. So also a tool call failure. So I have a tool call failure and it just decided to stop despite, yeah, or actually it's thinking. Yeah, it's thinking. It's just going to take some time. So we see that. We can go back in here and we can see the model in OpenCode. So I set it up to create a browser. I want to open this. Reveal in Finder. Yeah, I'm going to need to do this in the Finder and then open it. So thanks for being patient. And it's broken, and then I can just talk to it and have it fix the issues. And actually, it sees the issues and it's trying to fix them. I use OpenCode a lot, and the reason for that is OpenCode has LSPs. It has very easy integrations for like various models. You can set up your own models at home. So you can see my home models here, Nematron, Minimax, GLM, etc. This is very helpful. Most of the harnesses make it a little hard to do this. I'd say Droid and OpenCode are the most open in that sense. And you can have these models work in here on any type of task. So I want to go over another repo. I'm going to make a new, I want you to describe this repo deeply for me. And now the model is going to start responding. This is hitting my server. You could see it's hitting the server over here. 5 requests because I'm doing this one and this one, and it's also probably working in the browser. And so this model, which is a local model, is able to create sub-agents that go and do research on various topics. Like, for example, right now, I could check to see, and these are features in, second, that's, okay, I can't for the life of me do this today. So you can see it's using Explore agents. You can see that there is the main one that is waiting for it. And so they use sub-agents pretty well. And what's great about this is that you can just have your local models, which are usually pretty fast. You can have them essentially do orchestration tasks. So, because these small models are really good at specific tasks, right? If you can specify what you want and be precise, these models can execute on it in a very great way. And so one thing that you can do to make local models in general viable, even something like a Qwen3 Coder 30B, is that you have one of them that is just taking in your prompts and then creating tasks for the next one. And then it creates a sub-agent, passes it on the specification, and that will execute. And that is actually more performant than what you would do typically. So I want to go in here and go over another model, which is the complete opposite. This is GPT Codex. So I will set So I'm going to do things a little differently for the sake of demonstration, but you can see here, this is GPT 5.2 extra high, right? GPT 5.2 extra high, and I want it on low so that it's faster. But I would usually do it with extra high. And let me do this, actually clear, and then we can do approvals. I always do max approvals. And so I would say to the model something like, I want you to read the directories in this repo, and then I want you to figure out three big things. One, I need the thinking blocks displayed in the UI, because right now we don't see the think blocks. Two, I want the orchestration to be more visible, maybe inspired by OpenCode. And then three, I want you to improve my tests and make sure we have full end-to-end testing with reports. Then I want you to make /tasks, and in it, break down each of the above tasks into 3 files. So task 00.md, task 01.md, etc. So why do we do this? So I'm being a little bit vague, and I would spend a lot more time usually on these types of prompts, specifically with GPT. GPT is very good at taking in context, working within long context windows, and then creating very detailed specifications and prompts for itself. So now what you could do is set up a second terminal, and then you can do this where you go in and you change the model. And so you set up, let's say GPT 5.2 codecs. I'm going to do low for now, but what you could do here is have a scope.md in root and a rules.md in root. Now, what is going to happen here is as soon as the files, the task files are created, they're going to be like /tasks, task 0, task 1, task 2. So you can do something like this. Rules.md, scope.md, task 0.md. And then you can hit enter. So now it's creating the tasks. I'm going to wait, right? Task 0.md. And it has updated the plans, and we can send this off. I actually want to wait for it so I can demonstrate this properly. But another thing that Codex does, which is very cool, is that it won't send your message to the model until after the entire turn is done. So what this means is you can chain messages to have it run for something like 12 hours, easy. I've gotten it to run for up to 17 hours. I will now show this off. Yeah, so we could just do this. There you go. And we change this to 1. And then we do this, and we change this to 2. And so what you're going to see, which is also something that I should not have done on this branch, but what you're going to see is that it'll start working, right? And it's not looking at these messages that we sent. And so it's going to work. It's going to do the testing, and you can have in your rules.md like run type checks, run tests, run linting, document the code. And so your rules are prompts, and you can get it to behave in a very specific way. And so you have a verifiable checkpointing system within this type of prompt. So imagine this. The rules say that if you start a new task, you have to create a new branch, and then in that new branch, you have to create the description of what you're trying to do, and then you will implement the 5 things that you are told to implement within this task, and then you will run type check, you will run linting, and then you will run end-to-end tests. And then if you have an error in any of these, you must fix it. You cannot delete or modify the tests. Once you send that over, the model is now doing this. And so you see, it still hasn't looked at these tasks. It is chugging along. And once it's done chugging along, it's going to run the tests, it's going to do all that, and then you can bet that the next, like when it's done, it's going to pick up the next task, and it's going to do it in the same way. And so you're not being sloppy, which is something that's very important. I use, what's it called? I use Claude Code a lot, but I don't use Claude Code for coding most of the time. I use Claude Code for like agentic execution and environment management. So I would do something like, I need you to maybe version this, prepare it for main pushing, prepare it for pushing to main, and setting up a .github job for linting, type checking, etc. And so I'll use it to like set up environment stuff, right? Like go turn on my Docker and then set this thing up, go do this, go do that. And while I do this, I'm also doing many other things at the same time. So you can see I'm working on 5 or 6 projects at the same time, and I have multiple models running in each project at the same time. I have been experimenting a lot with work trees. This is supposed to help you. So you can see here, I want to work on this project with 3 models, and I've set up a create doc work tree and a review report work tree. And that's just a copy of the repository in here. And then you can have the model just work in here, and it's not going to know about anything else out there. Right? And then you can cherry pick what you like. You can basically get 5 models to like try to build the same feature, 5 local models, and you basically cherry pick the one that you like the most. These are examples of like ways that you can significantly improve both like using local models and using external models like GPT. With Claude Code, I find it very hard to steer. So it's very easy to use, but it's hard to steer in a way. It doesn't require enough information to get going, and then it doesn't take into plan the big picture. It usually just does something like very localized. And you can see here, by the way, that the task was started. Right? So this is an important thing. So that means that I can just get this running. This task took something like 10 minutes, and then the next task will take 10 minutes. And I'm using the lowest settings here. What I would actually be using is the strongest setting. So I would be using X high, and then I would be using Codex X high as well. So I'm going to delete all this. And then this one is taking care of my GitHub deployments and the Git history and all that. And as you can see, we need to make sure not to leak any keys. And yeah, there you go. So this is how I use my local models. This is also how I use Claude Code, and I've completed the request but cannot produce a summary. And these are the bugs that I have to deal with all day, every day. Hopefully that was useful. Thank you.